All right, guys, this is the market recap for February 21st. I know I've been away for, a few days, a week or so. And I honestly need a vacation from that vacation. There were so many problems I hit into that time off. And I also caught COVID and still have a bit of a sore throat from that. But all in all, back to normal. And back to the markets. I had been following the markets all through my trip, but just didn't get a chance. I recorded a video or two while I'm there, but with all that was going on, sorry I didn't get a chance to record that daily recap. But let's see where we are at now before we get started. The video is for information purposes only. Please do your own due diligence before investing. This is not advice to invest in any security. Okay, so starting from the best to the worst sectors, XLE putting in a good day. You can see we have that type of double bottomish look off that the demand supply area that we had marked before, and we have taken out some of those curling moving averages here. And this is the weekly chart with the week still having to close, but if I look at the daily, we it does look like a constructive chart. With it being above the moving averages, I could see XLE running possibly like as if it's able to take these previous high resistances, it could run somewhere around the 98 mark to the 98 mark, which is somewhere around the 14%, which is a considerable move for energy. Okay, so yeah, looking pretty decent on XLE. XLU, we avoided that breakdown here, and if you take a look, price lower and RSI higher. So there was some strength off of this the second bottom here that I put through. So we could see some run up in XLU, bring it to maybe back to this box for another demand and supply test. This has been a lot of resistance previously. So although it looks pretty decent, we are looking at about a 5% move here, after which it hits resistance. But yeah, something's still looking quite decent. XME is metals and mining. We put in this kind of lower high, so which is not something I really like. We need to kind of take that high and move above these moving averages for it to start to look constructive. And then after doing that, we are only about $1.50 away from the previous resistance levels, where we have failed once, twice, 3 times. So that could start acting as some resistance, and that is only about 5% away. So although, a decent look here, I would just wait for a crossover that 58 and put money to work somewhere else until then. XLY, decent look, we rebounded off of that much above the box that we had highlighted. Buyers came in and then just consolidating on the sideways over here. We could mark, you can see a pretty clear kind of consolidation move that's happening here. And we can mark just above this here to see if there's a breakout off of that move, which would take XLY higher. Tesla being one of the components, and that also is kind of hanging in there in that 190, 200 mark. IYR is interesting to me. We had this kind of a flaggish pattern, and now we had a few false breakdowns from it. And most recently also there was a huge gap down. I believe that was CPI. We got bought up. We tried to break higher and we couldn't. We did a retest of the top trend line, and we are now kind of starting to move higher here out of this moving averages. And you can see why it's looking pretty good here. On the weekly chart, if we're able to close above this 5-week, which sits at somewhere around 87. So if we're able to close above that 87, that is going to be constructive. Okay. For IYR, so yeah, real estate looking pretty decent here and ready for that move higher. IYT, transports, it is still above, a little bit above that 5-week. It could come down and retest that, but it, all in all, we are above this, the top trend line, and you can use that as a base or as a stopping point for a move higher above this channel. So looking pretty decent here. ITB still in that sideways consolidation, just moving sideways here, although it is holding and not losing that that consolidation move. It did not close in or below this box. It is kind of holding that 5-week moving average. So hanging in there, ITB, even though TLT had a bit of a sell-off, that ITB kind of hanging in there. XLB materials also looking quite decent here with that move above that 5-week and above that red box here. We have previously seen attempts of breaking, but since April 2021, this has been a sideways pattern. So can't ignore a move higher in this because of the extent to which this is consolidated. So materials, got to keep an eye out on materials. IHI, medical devices, still hugging that 5-week and continuing, trying to get through that previous resistance, make a V-shaped recovery here. Yeah, nothing complain, above all the moving averages and looking good still. XLI also, like the transports, looking good above above the top trend line here. So not a bad look here for XLI. XLF is still in that red box. We had that sell-off from the 39.8-ish level, but it still ended up holding that 5-week moving average. And now once it clears in the 40 area, then we have a much clearer road ahead for financials to take over and move higher. So got to start moving this into a cautionary type of thing, in terms of caution, in terms of not that it looks bad, but got to keep an eye on it for a breakout. We are overall in a seasonally weaker time of the year, somewhere to about mid-March. So got to look at breakouts skeptically a little bit and allow them more time for confirmation before you jump into the trades for breakouts. Just because of the seasonality, you could save yourself some paper cut losses at this time of the year. Mid caps also looking good over here. We had a sort of a possible false breakdown early in the year, but since then it has been supported. My only concern with mid caps has been TLT, and if we just now look at TLT, you can see how we're trending a bit lower on TLT, which is not what I like. What I would like to see for TAN, for IWM and stuff. But you know what? IWM is more affected because of the huge regional bank component, KRE component in IWM, which mid caps doesn't have. So mid caps is still a better bet compared to IWM, and a much healthier looking chart so far. XLV still maintaining that breakout and chugging along. Nothing to complain here. It is holding that 5-week, and we were a little bit stretched from the 5-week, but now we're giving it, I guess, consolidating in time and giving it time to catch up. So looking still quite good. SPX. SPX, we can see that we are maintaining that 5-week. We are maintaining that 5-week so far, and this week tried to kind of close below. Last week also, but got bought up, and this week so far also got bought up. And NVDA earnings went well, so I can see this probably going a bit higher from here. Let's see how the week closes, but so far it looks like the week could possibly close above that 5-week. XBI hitting resistance at that 93 level, needs to really get buyers supporting it here and pushing it above if it wants to make a decent move. But not a bad look so far. We need a push higher in XBI to get it above that area. IYZ is telecommunications. It's all right. We had that possible breakout, but then this previous resistance got into play and really pushed for 3 weeks, pushed it lower. We are sitting at some moving average support, but much better areas out there to concentrate on until this does whatever it wants to for now. XLC communications, it's looking okay. Some consolidation here, maybe a flag that's printing out, but we are below 5-week, so got to be cautious here in XLC. IJT is small cap growth. This is still okay. We are holding that 5-week. It is sort of a cup type consolidation with a handle. You can look at it that way. So still looking on a bullish perspective, decent until it holds and maintains that 5-week support. So QQQ is interesting. We had the move lower here, but with the NVDA earnings doing well, we are back at that top trend line, and we could move higher into that 450 mark if it wants to run. Otherwise, we could find sellers here and push it back lower. But it looked like we are going to close this week below 5-week moving average, but that NVIDIA earnings pushing things up a bit. IWC is microcap. So for microcap, we have the 200-week moving average and the 5-week kind of contesting, similar to what we saw with Shopify. And actually Shopify initially won that battle, but then lost it. We have a similar type of battle in this microcap, so we need to close above that 5-week. It is acting. The 200-week. We are seeing some resistances there. XRT just consolidating that up move. We have put an alert right above it to see if we can get a further breakout or a breakdown here. But so far, just kind of watch and see. IWM touched the top of the trend line, sold off, and we are still sideways here. Possibly a bit negative also due to TLT breaking down. Okay, XLK. XLK touched that anchored VWAP level, and we'll have to see how it opens tomorrow with the market looking a bit up in the pre-market. But we did have kind of a decent move down here back into AVWAP, but we have certain gaps down here to still fill, which it hasn't done yet. 5-week is sitting at 202, which could start acting as resistance as price approaches from below. SMH, you can see at an all-time high already with the NVIDIA earnings, so sitting at 208, and we have it never lost that 5-week moving average, maintained that all through, and now printing an all-time high in pre-market at least. Last two, TLT, we talked about how below this trend line, below this box is just kind of a danger zone here. We are being supported by the 20-week moving average, but with the 200 and the 50 being above it, just not a, I would like to see this turn around for some of the sectors like banking, solar, and a few other interest rate sectors to do better if TLT is not breaking down. Okay, so yeah, quick recap there, and we'll keep it more consistent from now on. And yeah, let's see how the rest of the week closes. And we got a major earnings out of the way yesterday. And so let's see how the market reacts to that. Is it like a pre-market high and then sells off from there, or the buyers come in and support, take it to previous highs for SMCI, NVDA, and some other semiconductors.